Hello, I'm Louise Utting, and like you, I'm wild about Washington. A 1991 oil spill that greatly harmed seabird populations along Washington's outer coast is now a 200-year protection for 900 acres of old-growth forest, critical to the survival of marbled murrelets. The murrelets were just one of the species harmed when the Tenyo Maru sank northeast of Cape Flattery, releasing over 100,000 gallons of oil. With the cleanup and mitigation completed, the Makah tribe, whose beaches were fouled by the spill, held a celebration dedicated to the future.
Initially, it was almost like a state of shock. We were all aware of the Exxon Valdez and the terrible thing it did to the environment way back at that time. And so we were very concerned knowing the pristine nature of our area. People who came to talk to us, the Coast Guard and the law enforcement people, to announce what had happened, told us that they were going to use our area as a staging area for rescue. And of course, we were very anxious to do all we could to make that possible. So we were very concerned about the men in the water, and fortunately, almost all of them but one were rescued. It was like a nightmare. We understood the movement of the oil, and that it was a fairly significant amount of bulk number 2 oil, and that it was about the worst kind of oil to be coming across our area. And so we're concerned about the pristine nature of the beaches and the like, and it wasn't long before we could start to smell the oil along our beaches. We've been imprinted in a way over thousands of years of having lived here and derived a living here and understanding the rhythms of the natural world in our area. It's like it's been imprinted deeply in all of us, and we inherit it generationally. And so when something threatens it, it's like a part of ourselves, a part of our history, a part of our tradition is being impacted or affected or threatened by it. So we had a deep desire to protect it.
I've lived here all my life for 37 years, and as my grandma said, this is the beginning of the earth. It's not the end of the earth, as some people would call it. It's one of the most pristine places in Washington State, and the large number of vessel traffics going through here each year has almost doubled since the Tenyo Maru oil spill. So we do still worry about our natural resources being damaged.
Back in '91, we were treated to a really excellent salmon bake and ceremony as we broke up camp here from our invasion of Neah Bay. The mood at that time was much more somber. We didn't know what awaited us if we could restore these resources. Today, I'm really pleased to know that we've accomplished that, and the mood here is much happier, much better than what it was in '91.
Well, today we celebrated, the oil spill and the cooperation that we had with the other government agencies showed that we can come together and work together as a team and help prevent oil spills, I hope. It takes more than just the Makah tribe. We have to have help from federal agencies and the state of Washington to help us. Prevention is what it is.
Educating boaters about milfoil, zebra mussels, and other nuisance species of the plants and animals is one step in reducing the spread of these invaders. Biologist Mike Wilkinson spent his summer providing an education across eastern Washington.
What I am out doing is handing out pamphlets showing the aquatic nuisance species that we have in Washington and what might move its way here eventually, being flora and fauna, animal and plant. Zebra mussels are the big one that's on its way out here. They've been found in the water as far west from the east side in Lake Michigan as far as middle of South Dakota. They're moving out here. We're trying to stop them before they get here. They disrupt boaters and they get in the engines of boats, clog up the cooling systems of them, and totally mess up motors of boats. And we're trying to stop them, along with the Eurasian milfoil is the big plant that's moving its way out here. We're trying to stop it before it gets any worse than it already is. Most of the lakes, especially the one behind me, Olympia Lake, are full of Eurasian milfoil. How does one of these plants get from one lake body to infest the lake body that doesn't have it? A lot of people don't realize that that plant taken out on their motor or on their trailer, taken down the road the next day, they back their trailer and their boat into the water body, it falls off their trailer, gets in the water system, can regrow itself without roots into the bottom of that lake body and infest that lake then with the plant. The main reason we care about these non-native species getting here is because we have an ecosystem that's set up for certain plants and animals that are already here. They're just not what this ecosystem needs. Our ecosystem survives with what plants and animals we already have that are native. The non-native species throw a wrench in the system and mess it all up. We want people to come to our state, and we want people that live in that state to take pride in the fact that they have great waters to fish in and just keep the non-native stuff out of here to keep our state beautiful and really take pride in what we have.
Here are some fishing opportunities in the coming weeks. A view of Puget Sound can be spectacular. However, those with diving equipment can get an even more spectacular view. Here's a look at what you're missing.
Going under the surface of Puget Sound is always an adventure. Sometimes the biggest adventures come from checking the small, hard-to-reach places. Here's a gunnel tucked away under this rock. Looks like these two have set up housekeeping together. The sea cucumber is related to starfish. It is using the tentacles around its mouth to locate and eat plant material that has fallen to the bottom and stuck to pieces of shell and rocks. This beautiful blue creature has a not so beautiful name, a slime tubeworm. Looks like Jabba the Hutt when it closes up. This great sculpin waits patiently and watches with its golden eyes for dinner to swim by. Maybe the hunting is better someplace else. This busy shrimp doesn't seem to notice the tunicate that it bumps into. The tunicate closes its intake and waits for its busy neighbor to leave. This decorator crab is well camouflaged with a healthy growth of seaweed. Like many crabs, this red rock is an excellent scavenger. The northern kelp crab is not above a tug of war to try to get just a few scraps. These nudibranch eggs look like a delicate white rose drifting gently in the current. And we leave you with this top predator, the lingcod.
Our enforcement officers in Northeast Washington have a new tool to use in the backcountry, thanks to a donation from U.S. Smokeless Tobacco Company's Operation Ranger program.
We'll be using this, a lot during the fall hunting season. We'll be working the road closures. We'll be working popular hunting areas. We would not have been able to get up to check this area if it were not for the Polaris Ranger. Or Ford pickups would not have made it up here. We're going to be patrolling, the grizzly bear, road closure, T&E species areas in northern Pend Oreille County. We'll be using this to patrol areas where folks hunt for moose, deer, elk, bear, cougar, up in the high country. As far as I know, this is the only vehicle of this type that Fish and Wildlife now owns. And this type of donation, with our tight budget, would have been something that we could never have afforded to have. And so the donation, is a big plus for the enforcement program and the agency.
This has been Wild About Washington, brought to you by the employees of Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Working together, we can keep Washington's outdoor heritage for future generations. Thank you for watching.